It's going good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Where are all your women?
Where are all my women? Well, you know, the UFC told me if I brought any women or wore my MAGA hat, I'd get fined. So I'm not trying to get fined this weekend.
Did they give you a reason why?
They just said it wasn't Reebok approved.
I wonder, what has your reaction been? What kind of reaction have you gotten to your strong support of President Trump from the MMA community and outside the MMA community?
You know, here in the crowd yesterday at the open mic workouts, the crowd was strong for me. You know, they were all pleased with me. I didn't hear any boos, so it was a good reaction, you know. In the MMA community, it's a bunch of liberal crybabies, so, you know, I'm not worried about those snowflakes.
How evenly matched is this fight against Usman?
You know, it's not evenly matched at all. You know, it's a matchup of a Division I All-Star versus a D2 scrub.
And that is where everybody would say you are so competitive, is in your wrestling abilities. What about on your feet? Who has the advantage and why?
No doubt about it. If you watch my last fight versus Ruthless Robbie Lawler, I set a UFC record for strikes on his face, and he's the hardest hitter in the division, you know. Wait till you see what I do to Marty Fake Newsman, who's a bitch.
And some might say stamina is going to be the difference maker in this fight. Do you agree with that? What do you think the difference maker will be?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I have the best cardio and the best pace in the world. You know, there's a reason they call me porn star cardio, and you're going to see that Saturday night.
So
Brazil 2 years ago, but your time with TNA and Jeff Jarrett and that crew, did that help you at all in terms of promo work and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. I learned a lot from my stint in Impact, you know, with my agent Dan Lambert and, you know, the team, American Top Team, the angle we ran over there. You know, my teammate Bobby Lashley, a good friend of mine. So, you know, it's been awesome to kind of cross over into that world a little bit and learn a little bit from those guys over there. It's definitely helped me in the MMA world.
You're a unique hero that you're not totally hated. There's 50% of the country that likes you and stands with you. What is that like, where 50% love you and 50% obviously don't like you?
You know, it's just like life. You know, everybody's got a different opinion, you know, and the difference between me and every other fighter is that I don't care what people think of me. If they like me, they hate me, it is what it is. At least you're not in the middle. At least you're going to tune in and watch me fight. You're not going to turn the channel to Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yeah.
they had the athlete panel yesterday, but usually they do open workouts, and from what I understand, you had something planned. Did that put a crimp in your style at all?
Yeah, I did put a crimp in my style. You know, I had a picture of Marty Fake Newsman on a basketball, and I was gonna kick it off the stage, and I don't want to give you the exact skit because I might use it in the future. So, you know, it definitely cramped my style a little bit.
Why do you think they didn't do it?
You know, I think because the security. You know, I think with me, it's a concern everywhere I go. You know, I draw the crowds. You know, I'm the man. People came to see me, and you know, I have a lot of haters out there, so they wanted to make sure that I was secure and safe this weekend.
Colby, do you feel like you've been treated fairly by the media leading up to this fight?
No, definitely not. You know, the media is a bunch of crybaby liberals, you know, and let's be honest, all these media, so-called journalists, they don't even have journalism degrees, so I don't really care what they think.
How is this fight week compared to other fight weeks, just with everything that's going into this, you know, alienating teammates, things like that? How have things gone?
It's been smooth, you know, it's been really good. You know, the Trump's got me taken care of at their hotel. You know, I got great security. I got a great team behind me. You know, I care about the people that care about me. You know, I don't care about the people that, you know, are trying to use my name to get clickbait. So it is what it is. Saturday night, I'm going to unify my title. What's
the inspiration behind this suit? You had the suit yesterday, different one today.
Yeah, the inspiration behind this suit is, you know, obviously the Trumps and pro-America. You know, everybody knows I'm Captain America, and Marty's out here faking injuries, faking excuses, faking narratives. You know, he's saying he's more American than me. What's more American than him, than me? My family served for this country in the Korean War, in the Vietnam War. What's his family ever served besides in the penitentiary?
They talked in the second panel that they didn't respect because they think that you're fake. And you talked about not being fake as sort of like an extension of your personality. Your thoughts on people saying that Max, like Kamaru, said that you're fake?
You know, these are just a bunch of jealous haters. You know, I could care less what they say. You know, I just turn it up to 11. All those guys are just scared to put it all on the line. You know, I mean, they're not going to talk because they're scared of what people think of them. You know, they're here to make friends. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money.
Did it concern you? You said there was not very many boos yesterday. Is that concerning to you? I mean, that's kind of part of what drives the crowd.
That's true. You know, I enjoy the boos. You know, that gives me extra inspiration to shut them up and prove them wrong. You know, so It was definitely a different sight here. People actually cheered for me, but it is what it is. Business is going to be the same Saturday night, and I'm going to leave Marty Fake Newsman in a pool of blood.
Is the UFC taking any extra security precautions, like on fight night with the people around the cage, anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. UFC's done a great job with security. We got 10 security guards following me around at all times, and also the Trumps. They've gave me the first class treatment over at the Trump Tower, and they've made sure that my back is covered at all times.
Have you had any fans get in your face or anything like that? Just because obviously very polarizing in this country with the political views.
No, it's been impossible to get in my face. I'm surrounded by not only my team of 20 people that are out here with me, but also a bunch of security guards, and so no one's going to be able to get close to me before this weekend.
You were just recently on a conservative commentators podcast, Candace Owens. How did that come about?
That came about. Candace Owens reached out to me. She's a huge supporter of the Trumps as well as me, and it was a great time. I got to go out to LA, hang out with her, get to meet her, and sit down and talk, and we had a great talk. She's a good friend of mine. She'll be out here actually watching front row this weekend, and I'm hoping the UFC is going to let her wrap the belt around my waist.
So yeah, you did mention that. Do you think that there's even a possibility of that?
Yeah, there's got to be a possibility. Look at what they did in New York. The BMF title, which stands for Broken Mediocre Fighter, which is also a Bernie Sanders participation trophy, they let The Rock pass that out. So if they're letting The Rock pass out belts, fake belts, they need to let Candace Owens pass out the real belt.
Do you see yourself having any political aspirations?
Absolutely. I think after my UFC career, after I go to WWE and win a second world title, I'll be looking to run for office or Congress or something along those lines.
When you fight, when you're out there fighting, are you fighting for all of America, though? You want people from all different factions to be behind you?
I fight for the troops and I fight for the Trumps, and that's my motivation going forward.
You mentioned WWE. How soon could we see you in there? Because you and I have been talking about this for a while. It seems like there has been discussions for quite some time.
Yeah, you can see me as early as next summer at SummerSlam. There's been some talks. Might even be on Total Divas one day, and we've had some good talks over there, and I have a lot of good friends over there. Luckily, Kurt Angle might be out here this weekend as well, so I'll be having his walkout music for my fight. So, sooner than later, but first things first. I got to go take care of business this weekend.
Okay, talk about how the UFC and you have a fractured relationship. If you win the belt, do you think they'll try and repair that at all?
Yeah, definitely. After I unify my belt, they're going to try and repair the relationship because they know I'm what's good for business. I'm the one that's making money for this company, Marty Fake Newsman couldn't draw money with a green crayon and a piece of paper, so, they know that I'm good for business, and I'm sure they're going to try and repair the relationship after this fight.
Are you going to do that?
It came from them stripping me. I'm the fastest strip champion in the history of the organization, so, they stripped me for no reason. I had to get a nasal surgery from their doctors. I went to their doctors, and they said I couldn't fight, and I had to get the surgery, and then they just stripped me in the faster than anybody else, so I'm not okay with that. And, unfulfilled promises as well. They promised me things many times, and they've never lived up to their end of the bargain, so I'm not okay with that.
When did they officially strip you? There's been a lot of confusion on that, when that actually happened. It just seemed like one day in the rankings they took you off as interim champion. When did that actually happen?
Yeah, supposedly it was supposed to happen in Dallas when Woodley fought Till, but they didn't actually take my name with interim champion number one status off until at least 4 or 5 months later, before Marty Fake Newsman was going to fight Tyquo Woodley. So, they're way behind on taking me off the rankings, but it's okay. After this weekend, everybody's going to know who the greatest is.
We're all here. Look at how many people are looking at you, interviewing you. Haven't you kind of already won in a sense because of how much attention you're getting? The plan is kind of coming to fruition, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody wants to get words from a winner, and that's what I do best. Just like the Trumps, some people are addicted to drugs, some people are addicted to sex, some people are addicted to cheating on their taxes. Me and the Trumps, we're addicted to winning, and people love winners.
Is there any benefit to getting along with Dana? Wouldn't it be better for your career to have a good relationship in that respect?
Not really, man. We're doing business, man. I'm an independent contractor, man. I'm not an employer. I don't work for the UFC. The UFC works for me.
Given the way that they've treated you and how everything has gone down, could we see you lead a charge for something like a union? Are you in support of that for fighters?
I would love to, but it's just never going to happen because a lot of the fighters, they're happy to get their little UFC Reebok fight kits and wear it to Publix or Walmart. I'm a UFC fighter, blah, blah, blah. But they're willing to get their brains bashed in for $10,000. So, I just know that if I lead the charge, it's just not going to go anywhere. No one's going to follow my lead. So, people should thank me because I'm trying to stand up for all the fighters that don't have a voice or a platform.
You have a lot of.
Did you have this inside of you from the beginning? When your coach tells you before that fight in Brazil, do something, you can tell that to a lot of people, but they might not have it. You seem to embrace that. Did you always have that inside of you and just held it in?
Yeah, I always had that inside of me, but I always just held it in because I was scared that I was going to get judged or what people were going to think of me or how the UFC would react. But now I don't care, man. I just turn it up to 11. It's the same me, and I just don't care what people think of me. If you don't like me, you don't like me. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect my business inside the octagon.
When you have a stadium full of people booing you and saying that you should die, that made you, did that turn something in you? You like that feeling? Or
I love that feeling, man. It's funny how an arena full of Brazilians can chant, "You buy more, you will die," but then I dish it back at them, and all of a sudden I'm the bad guy, and I'm getting, $5 hot dogs thrown at me in a poverty-filled country. So, it just shows who won the battle.
What about that? You're surrounded by a lot of turmoil. You seem to flourish with that. Does that? Some people, they wouldn't be able to concentrate like they want to, but you seem to draw that to yourself.
Yeah, I enjoy it, man. It's just, my whole life I've had doubters. They never thought I would be here. They never thought I'd wrestle in college. They never thought I'd wrestle in high school on the varsity team. And, I just keep proving people wrong. So the more haters and people that tell me I can't do something, that just inspires me and motivates me more to prove them all wrong.
Most people don't feel that way, right? Most people want to be liked and have people sort of respect and admire them. Where does that come from? I mean, why don't you care?
I mean, it's just that mentality. Who cares, man? Everybody has a different opinion, So you're not going to please everybody. So you got to just go about your own way of business and your own life and do what you got to be you and do you. And if people have a problem with that, that's their problem. It's not my problem.
Do you wish that you had, as you said, sort of turned it up to 11 earlier? I mean, it took you a while. You were grinding, winning fights, and not really getting this bump. And then you did. Do you wish you'd done it earlier, or you sometimes wish you didn't have to do it at all?
I think the timing was right. I was developing my skills over at American Top Team, evolving as a fighter, and it was perfect timing for the time I took the turn and actually started turning myself up to 11 and being real and not holding things back and being filtered and care what people think of me because, everybody's got, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Did you see Jorge's tweets today, or Masvidal's tweets about you guys being roommates, him putting you up? Did you see any of that this morning on social media?
Nah, I don't pay attention to anything that journeyman George Masvidal says. He's the street Judas for a reason, and he's fake. He's always putting lies out there. Everybody's talking about me this weekend, so how could I see what anybody's saying? I'm the man this weekend.
Is he next, though, if you beat Kamaru?
We'll have to see. I don't think he's going to accept the fight. We've trained together for 8 years in American Top Team. He knows how good I am. He's never won 1 second of 1 round against me. He's not going to want to fight me inside a UFC octagon.
How many times did you guys need to be separated, or how many times did the gym people at ATT separate you guys?
Oh, a couple times, yeah, but I feel bad for the coaches, holding him back. The only reason they were holding him back is because they didn't want him to, have to go to the hospital and then have no one to pay his medical bills. At least if I beat his ass in the UFC octagon, the UFC and Dana White's going to pay his medical bills.
How is it going to change if you guys do fight? Right now they're separating you. If you're actually fighting, how do you anticipate that's going to change the environment at ATT?
Dan Lambert will figure out a way. There's a reason he's the godfather of MMA. He'll find a way and a reason to, separate us on different time schedules. And, we have different coaches now, so, we'll figure it out. It won't be a big issue.
Right at the end of the panel yesterday, Volkanovski joked that there's nothing wrong with being a nerd or a virgin. And you laughed. We saw you laugh. So is there anything wrong with being a nerd or a virgin?
Nah, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd or a virgin. If you're a dork or a nerd and you're in your mom's basement eating Cheetos, do you. That's your problem. Own it up. But, it is what it is.
The haters kind of fuel everything. They'll fuel money, they fuel fame, everything else. Can you talk about what this does after your career? Everybody likes to come back to the fight.
Considered it, and I don't want to be anything around it. All these people here at the UFC, the people that work here, the fans, everybody, they're all a bunch of cheating, pieces of shit. They all cheat on their taxes, they cheat on their wives, they're piece of shit people. So to be honest, I don't ever want to come to a fight that I'm not fighting in, and I don't want to be anything associated or a part of this company because I'm the realest thing that's came to this company since sliced bread.
You wore a suit yesterday inspired by Nick Bockwinkel. Who are some of the other heels or guys that you look up to or watch their takes or anything like that?
Oh, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, he was giving me props on ESPN the other day, so what an honor to get props from a true legend and one of the greatest of all time in the sport of WWE. So, you know, I want to make wrestling real again.
When you're beginning to experience this, when a heel's really popular and hot, fans begin to like them. Is that going to be weird if you win the title and you get more cheers than boos? It's not exactly what you would like, I guess, but what is that going to be like?
Yeah, I think my family will like it. I know my mom will. You know, she's had some sleepless nights, you know, worrying about my safety. You know, I had a death, you know, they wanted to kill me in Brazil. They had a bounty on my head. So, you know, to be liked, I know it'll make my family happy, and the babyface turn would be cool, but, you know, I'm not looking to make friends here, like I said before. You know, I'm looking to make money.
Does your family have that like real conversation with you? Like, why are you doing this? Like, please, it'd be so much easier for us if you didn't do this.
I remember when, after the fight in Brazil, my mom and dad were screaming at me, like, you put our whole family in jeopardy, they're gonna come after our family, what are you doing? Like, Colby, come on, like, I'm like, no, I'm doing business, Mom, what are you mad at? I'm trying to make a better life for you, man. I'm trying to get you out of the trailer parks, man. We grew up as a blue-collar family in a shitty part of town in Springfield, Oregon. You know, I want to give my family a better life, and that's what this is all about, is creating a better future and a financial future for my family.
There's a now?
Yeah, they do get it now. You know, my mom lives in a great place in Tennessee. My dad lives in an amazing place in Oregon, you know, and I help them out as much as I can.
There's a way, because Usman is obviously born in Nigeria as an immigrant, and Trump has some fairly divisive.
He wasn't born in Nigeria.
Is he not? That's what his UFC website says.
No, go look on his website from college. He was born in Arlington, Texas. That's why I call him Marty Fake Newsman. He wasn't born in Nigeria. He was born in Arlington, Texas, and he went to school in Nebraska. That's why he's literally, his name is Fake Newsman.
Fair enough. My question is irrelevant, and I apologize.
Tell us about growing up, and you said from poor circumstances. I mean, how did you get from that and have that seed of a dream of becoming a champion and getting to where you are now?
Hard work, dedication, sacrifice. You know, I had dreams of being here and being the best in the world since I was a little kid, and I never gave up on those dreams. I kept working for those dreams, and I put in the work. You know, that's what it's all about. That's what the American dream is all about. If you put in the work, you can do anything you want in life.
Do you see yourself first and foremost a wrestler, an MMA fighter, an entertainer, a troublemaker? What do you see yourself as?
I see myself as an entertainment. This is the entertainment business, so I'm here to entertain all the peons and put on a good show for the fans.
Colby, where do you get a jacket like that? Did you have that custom made, or did you find that somewhere? Where do you get that?
Yeah, of course I got that custom made. You know, I'm custom made head to toe always. You know, I got that in Miami from my boy Luigi Girardi. He makes me some great suits. I also have another great suit maker, Mark Russell, in Boca. So, you know, I'm covering all of South Florida from Boca to Miami.
Talk about your kind of emotions right now. I mean, this has been such a tense build-up, right? But you seem pretty relaxed and, you know, kind of feeling okay right now. So what is the emotion? I mean, is this intense? Is this a rivalry, or what's the feeling?
Nah, I wouldn't say it's a rivalry. You know, it's just what Dan Lambert wants. I'm Dan Lambert's hitman, so he wanted me to come out and put a hit on this dude, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm relaxed, I'm confident, I feel great, and Saturday night, I'm going to unify my world title.
Yeah, obviously it's clear you guys don't necessarily like each other, but putting that aside, I mean, just X's and O's, what does it take to win this fight? Because a lot of people see similarities in the game, you know, wrestling, strengths, cardio, that sort of thing. So what's it going to take to win this fight?
There's a reason that people call me the cardio king, you know, and he's going to find that out Saturday night, that he can't hang with my pace. And not only that, you know, I have a lot of haters in the world, and he's thinking that he has fans because those haters are cheered for him, but they don't really care about him. He's irrelevant, he's boring, and the only thing lamer than his fighting style is his personality.
Talk about your preparation. It's clear that you've made some enemies at the camp at ATT. So the preparation, was it difficult? Was it hard to get, you know, the rounds that you needed, the partners you needed? What was it like for you?
Man, training camp was amazing. This is the best training camp I've had, the best I've ever felt, you know. My head coach, Conan Silveira, you know, he's the head coach of the American Top Team. He did a good job of separating everybody and putting everybody on their own time schedules, and he brought in specific training partners to train for the style matchup, and, you know, I've never been more ready for a fight.
You took a lot of criticism this week for the Candace Owens interview that you did. I'm curious, why did you peel back the curtain a little bit? Why did you make the choice, you know, this close to your world title fight to let people know, you know, this is kind of how this was all born and how it all came together?
because I'm always real, just like Donald Trump says, truth is a force in nature, and I always spit truth and facts, and that's the real me. I'm just turning up to 11 in my interviews, because I knew I needed to do something and change something to make more money in this sport. So, people have a problem for the way I went about my business. That's their problem, not mine.
Yeah. So if people say you're playing a character, like, what do you think when you hear that?
I'm not playing a character. I'm just being real, I think that they don't know what they're talking about. I think that, I'm just turning up to 11. I'm not afraid to speak my mind and speak what I really think inside. Before I was keeping those thoughts in because I was worried about how people would judge me, how the media would react, how the UFC would judge me for it. Now I don't give a shit. I could care less what they think of me. At the end of the day, I'm what's good for this sport, and I'm making money for this company.
Yeah, and it worked, and it got you here. So I'm curious. You win the title on Saturday night. Like, do you still feel the responsibility to keep that same energy, so to speak, to still be this brash, this outspoken, or can you, at that point, can you settle and go, I got the belt, I got the contract I need, and I don't have to be as outspoken?
I'm just going to be myself always. I can't say if I'm going to do one thing or not. I'm just going to be real, and that's what I've always been, is real, Maybe I'll turn down some of the post-fight antics a little bit, but, this is the entertainment show business for a reason, and I'm here to put on a show for the fans. And it's not just when you fight. You got to entertain them year-round, and that's why fans love me so much.
I think a lot of people believe that you're in Usman's head, that he's really, really angry. Do you feel like that you've won the game of mental warfare and that maybe, it's going to affect his performance on Saturday?
It's funny you say that, because that big old fucking head with that 30% hairline still left, I own all the real estate in that head. And it's crazy, because all the realtors have been calling me this week asking for land in that head, but I'm not selling anything until after December 14th.
When you were at the face-offs there in New York and he took his shirt off, did you feel that you got the best of him at that point?
Yeah, for sure. Who's ever taken their shirt off at a press conference, a month and a half before the fight? That's the first time it's happened in UFC history, He was just trying to show off his physique of his EPO-filled system.
So when he says he's relaxed, he's no longer thinking about, what you do, your antics. You think that's an act?
What's that?
You think that's an act? When he says, like yesterday at the athlete panel, he said he's more relaxed than he's ever been. He's not worrying about you or your shtick. You think that's an act?
That's definitely an act. He's shaking in his boots right now. He knows when he loses to me on Saturday night, he's literally going to become irrelevant. Let's talk about the only time he's ever been relevant is when he attaches his name to my coattails. The only time people have cared about him in the media or talked about him is when he puts up a video or tweet about me. So this Saturday, I'm going to detach him from my coattails, and no one's going to ever care about him anymore.
Why did it take so long to make this fight?
Because he had to get the EPO out of his system. After the Tyron Woodley versus his Marty Fake Newsman fight, Dana came up to me and said, "You're next, I promise you, no matter what." And that's another thing why I'm at odds with them. Another unfulfilled promise. Then they came to me with the ruthless Robbie Lawler fight, and they said, "You have no choice. You either fight Robbie Lawler, or we'll just freeze you out and you'll never fight again." So, it's taken a long time because Marty Fake Newsman had to clear that EPO out of his system.
Those EPO accusations you've made quite a bit. I mean, can you tell us what information that you have that we don't? Because obviously he hasn't failed a USADA test, at least that we know of. I mean, we're not aware of anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of secondhand knowledge. A lot of his teammates had told me that, and I mean, look at his physique. Look at the fight in the Emil Meek fight when he gassed out in 3 rounds, and then he goes 5 hard rounds with Tyron Woodley. I mean, it's night and day different person, but and USADA, they don't even test. They didn't even test me one time leading up to this fight. And I mean, they know I'm clean. That's probably why they didn't test me. But where's the testing? I mean, I love USADA, I love Jeff Nowinski, but come on, guys, let's be honest. USADA works for the UFC, so you really think that the UFC is gonna pull a main event or test a guy that could potentially fail their test and ruin their business? I don't think so.
Did you think about asking for an EPO test? Did you think about saying, "Hey, can you guys do this?"
I did ask for it. I asked extensively to USADA behind, in emails and whatnot. And I was hoping they were going to do it. I was willing to pay $25,000 to Usman if he could piss clean in a cup in New York, but he couldn't do it. He just completely avoided the subject. I brought it up twice to him, and he just acted like he couldn't even deny it. So I mean, I think it showed his reaction at the press conference. He's obviously on steroids.
When was the last time you've been tested?
Anyone from the UFC, any fighters? Do you have something that you have like security with you 24/7? People, they're afraid that fighters may try to fight you like in the hotel or wherever.
No, I got a great security team behind me. The UFC supplied me with some great security guys, and the Trumps have gave me some great security guys. So no run-ins. Everything's been very smooth.
Secret Service?
Not Secret Service. I'm not gonna lie to you because I'm always real. I'm always truthful, but no Secret Service this week.
Colby, how surreal is that connection when you go to visit the president at the White House and they take care of you and they come to see your fights? I mean, it's a pretty cool connection to have.
Yeah, it's an amazing connection to have. The Trumps treat me so amazing. They give me first-class treatment all the way. When I was in New York, I was able to go by the Trump Tower, hang out with them for the day, have lunch with them in the Trump Tower. They're constantly, supporting me and promoting me and marketing me in my career. And, obviously, the President of the United States, gave me an invite to come and hang out with him in the Oval Office at the White House. So it's been amazing, And then the first-class treatment they gave me this week in Vegas, I came out here way early and the UFC wasn't going to cover my hotel, but the Trumps, picked up a nice suite over at the Trump Hotel for me.
Well, tell us about New York. You were going to sit with the president, and then you didn't. And Dana said that you had somewhere else to be, but on the Candace Owens show, you said that Dana wouldn't let you.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. The only reason that the President of the United States, Donald Trump, went to New York is because he thought me and Marty Fake Newsman were unifying the titles there. So, because that was the original planned event. We were supposed to headline the Garden, and 2 months out in his schedule, he put in that he was going to be there. But then Marty Fake Newsman couldn't clear an EPO test, so he couldn't make it to New York. But, the president already put it in his schedule, and so he decided to go. And then when I went to the Trump Tower the day before the fight and had lunch with Don Jr. and Eric Trump, they both told me that, hey, our dad, the president, told us he wants to sit with you at the fights. Can you do that? And I was like, yeah, I would love to. Let me just go ask Dana. And I asked Dana, he's like, oh, no, I can't do that. You're going to have to call the White House and get clearance from the White House to be able to do that. And then I asked Don Jr., he's like, he's telling me I have to get clearance from the White House. He's like, dude, I can't even get clearance from the White House. I'm the president's son. It takes weeks to get clearance from the White House. So it's clear that the UFC doesn't want me to get too big and become too big of a star because, it's their brand and we're just a number here.
Colby, it feels like you're taking somewhat of a step back from this character you've been putting on. Is that a conscious decision, or now that you've reached the goal of a title shot, you feel I just don't have to do this anymore?
I don't know what everybody keeps talking about this character thing. It's always been me. It's always been real. I just turn it up to 11 now. There's no character about it. It's just me not holding back how I feel and holding back my honest feelings inside. So, if anything, I'm just conserving my energy this week. I'm not going to waste too much emotion. Look who I'm selling the fight with. He's a fucking mute. He's a broomstick. So, it's a joke. I'm not gonna go out of my way to sell this fight. The UFC needs to sell this fight.
Are you a little bit disappointed in him? Because I think everyone coming into this fight thought, wow, serious grudge match, they're going to be talking loads of shit to each other. And actually, he almost refuses to. It's like he doesn't want to play the game at all. Are you surprised that's his reaction? And are you disappointed in it?
I'm not surprised because he knows what's ahead of him now. Now he knows we're getting locked in that octagon on Saturday night, whether he likes it or not. So he knows he's going to be embarrassed in front of the whole world. So, there's a reason he doesn't want to talk shit and engage in that and say some things because he knows he's going to fall this weekend. He just wants to make the fall a little bit less.
Do you think there's ever been a point where you've gone a little bit too far? I know that that's the heel, that's everything about it, but, Glenn Robinson's family have asked you not to mention his name. Do you ever look back and think, okay, probably got the judgment wrong on that one?
Not at all. Glenn Robinson, he always wanted the media. He was always looking to become famous, so he should be happy that I made him famous. Look at what he's a fraud. He's a fake. He had to file bankruptcy many times on his companies, and he was screwing people out of a lot of money. He didn't pay Marty Fake Newsman after he won the Ultimate Fighter when the UFC paid him like $250,000. People don't know that story. They need to check more into that. He's not that good of a person.
Earlier today, Jorge Masvidal tweeted out seemingly referencing you, saying, the time you cried on his couch and stuff like that. I don't know about you, but when I've fallen out with friends in the past, it hurts. It's not a nice thing. Is there any part of you that wishes this wasn't happening between you and him?
Not at all, because it's such an easy paycheck. We used to both be a part of the Easy Money Tour, but now it just came to find out that he's just going to be a part of my Easy Money Tour. It's an easy paycheck. I don't pay attention to what he's saying, to be honest. Everybody is tweeting at me, talking about me this weekend. I'm the man this weekend. I'm the reason everybody showed up. So, I could care less what journeyman George Masvidal, a.k.a. the Street Judas, has to say.
After this fight, is the Woodley fight the one that makes the most sense? You and him have the same sort of dynamic as Usman. it's one that should have happened probably, but it didn't. Do you think that's the right one to do next?
Nah, Tyquil Woodley's cashed out, and you saw that in the Marty Fake Newsman fight. You know, he's too busy in Hollywood. He's too busy with TMZ. He's a shell of his former self. The guy needs to retire. He's nothing what he used to be back in the day.
Who do you see in your sights if it's not Woodley?
Yeah, I see GSP in my sights. He's been tempting. You know, I see Fiverr Sahabi on Joe Rogan saying that he would come back and fight me. You know, or Usman if one of us got hurt. And, you know, there's also the potential kebab fight. You know, I'm not a big welterweight. You know, I can get down to like 160, 165. So if he wants to do a super fight, we could do it. And, you know, I'm not afraid of challenges. I would go up to 185 and fight Israel Adesanya. I know he can't hang with my pace. And obviously, you know, I asked the people, since I'm the people's champ, I asked the people which fight they want. They want me to embarrass journeyman George Masvidal next. So I think that's what's appropriate.
Colby, on page 79 of Sugar, Donald Trump Jr. refers to the president as the undisputed heavyweight champ of the media. How would you describe yourself in terms of your relationship with the media?
Yeah, I would say I'm the pound for pound number 2 in the media. You know, obviously Donald Trump's number 1, but you know, I'm number 2. Everybody loves to use my name to get clickbaits. They know when they put my interviews up, it's going to be the top of the shelf and getting them all the money.
And is there a reason you don't have Sugar with you today?
Yeah, it's in the back. They rushed me on stage. I was trying to bring it up here. Is this triggered?
It's better. It's without the picture. In the
back. This is we don't got the signed one though. Mine's signed on the inside. John, where's my book? Oh man.
What's the most important thing you learned from that book?
Just how to trigger snowflakes. You know, I don't want to give you too much. You know I like to be a spoiler for Star Wars and Avengers and all these great movies, but I'm not going to spoil the trigger book. You guys got to go out there and buy it. It's a New York Times bestseller for a reason.
You talked about in various interviews about the way you transformed yourself and you sort of turned yourself up to 11 to sort of help save your UFC career and take you up to the level that you're at now. Whatever happens on Saturday night, what happens to Colby Covington the person after Saturday?
No matter what happens after Saturday night, I'm going to be the same person, man. I'm going to be the guy that loves America, that supports the troops, that pays money out of his pocket to go visit the troops and boost their morale. And I'm still going to love my president. You know, I'm still going to love the Trumps and support them and do anything I can on their campaign trail to 2020. It's going to be a landslide in 2020. So I'll be the same person as I always am. I've always been real. I've always been honest. You don't see a fake bone in me. I'm never lying to the media or lying to anybody.
It seemed like at the athlete panel yesterday, you were getting a good pop from the crowd. You were having a bit of fun with it, and I think that version of Colby is one that I think a lot of fans could buy into. Some of the stuff that's happened in maybe the last couple of months, some of the things you said, probably stepped over the line a little bit, and you probably lost some friends or lost some fan support as a result of that. Do you feel like you've had to just step back just a tad and go back to sort of the fun side of this and be a larger than life personality, but understand that it is a sport, it is entertainment, and that things like life and death and things like that are probably off limits?
No, there's nothing off limits, man. We're getting locked in an octagon in our underwear, and we're going to take each other's brain cells. So, I mean, this is the fight business, man. Anything promotes fights, you know. If this isn't the Ultimate Feelings Championship, this is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So there's no off limits in the fight business.
How long do you see yourself fighting in the UFC? It seems like you have a lot of negative things to say about them. Dana White, is maybe WWE your ultimate goal? Is this just a platform to launch you there? How long do you see yourself in the UFC?
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how much longer they keep treating me like shit. You know, it's been a two-way street. I treat them like shit, they treat me like shit. You know, so or they treat me like shit, I treat them like shit. So, you know, when they start treating me with respect, you know, I'm still young. I'm 31 years young. I feel like I'm in my prime, and I'm getting better every single day at American Top Team. So, you know, if they treat me good, you know, I'll probably be around for another 5-6 years. But, you know, if they keep treating me how they treat me, you'll probably see me in WWE sooner than later.
You threatened to take them to court in the past when the whole stripping thing came. We've spoken about that. Would you be down for a court fight if it came to that? If you really wanted to go to the WWE, you know they fight you in court. Would you do that?
Man, the UFC lawyers have so many good so many guys protecting them, and it'd be hard to win a case against them, and it would just drag out and just be a multi-year type thing, and it would fizzle my whole career out. I wouldn't be in my prime anymore by the time it was over. So there's no reason to get in a piston match with them. I can still go to WWE because it's a different sport than UFC. So I just can't go to another fight organization. But it sucks because I know fight organizations would pay me my worth, multi-7 figures.
When will you know in the cage that you've broken Kamaru?
I will know when he starts looking for a way out, and I'm not going to let him out easily. I'm going to punish him first, and then I'm going to start looking at him, and I'll know when his body starts, being a little bit heavier, starts, a little bit more labored in his steps, and I'll do what I do to everybody. I'll take their will.
How many more fights have you got left on your current contract?
I got 3 fights. So after this fight, I'll have 2 more fights.
Okay, so let's take you to the end of that last fight. You get the offer of the GSP fight, or you get the offer of a WWE contract. Which one do you go for?
That's a tough choice. I think it depends on what type of paycheck they're offering me for the GSP fight. I'd love to do that fight. And prove that I am the greatest welterweight of all time. I've been telling people that for a long time, and I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart and soul. And that would be an opportunity to prove it. But going over to WWE and working with Vince McMahon and the people that work over there, those guys, they take care of their guys, man. They take care of their medical bills. They take care of everything. I mean, we don't have pensions. We don't have anything. I mean, I would like to be going to WWE sooner than later because they're going to take care of me.
Hey, Colby, we know how hard you train. You also train on your promo skills and stuff like that because you're really good on the mic. I mean, is that something that you practice or train on, or is that just you? Or
that's just me, man. Yeah. It's just me not being afraid of what people think of me anymore. It's me just being the real me, turning it up to 11. Like I said, there's no character about me. It's just I'm unfiltered anymore because I don't care. Before, UFC makes you feel scared. Like, if you say the wrong thing, they're gonna take your job. I don't care. If you take my job, I'll get a better job. Like, what are you gonna do? So I just don't care anymore and fuck people's feelings. I'm here to fight.
Did you not vote in 2016 because you didn't think Trump had a chance? There's a lot of voters who were like, what does it matter? And that's the first part. And will you campaign for him in 2020?
Yeah, 2016 I didn't vote because the media made it seem like it was over. All the polls in Florida said it was over. They had no chance. And I've always respected Donald Trump and his business tactics, but I just never voted before. I was always Republican. I just never went to the box office to put the vote in, and especially because the media, the way they were making it sound, they make it sound like my vote wasn't going to make a difference.
Final one from me. Another fight that you mentioned at the athlete panel, I think would be an interesting one. Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's a big 55er. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that he could step up to 170 at some point, find new tests in the welterweight division. How much would you enjoy a matchup with him, USA versus Russia?
I would love that matchup. I mean, there's so many different angles that matchup has. Ali Abdullah Sleaze, he manages him, so to take down his 2 top clients would just be so awesome to sink his ship. But I don't think he wants to fight me. I think he knows that I hold the wrestling advantage and definitely hold the striking advantage. So, he's going to look to fight lightweights like Tony Ferguson, who doesn't have wrestling takedown defense, and Dustin Poirier, who can't stuff a takedown, let alone a nosebleed. So, I don't think he wants that fight. But he don't have to come up to 170. I can meet him in between because I'm not a big 170. We can meet at 165 or 160, but he'll get knocked out and exposed if he fought me.
You and Dana White went to the Oval Office together. Y'all seemed like y'all were pretty tight at one point, and that wasn't that long ago, and then y'all had a bit of falling out. Can you just tell me what was the catalyst of that and how your relationship is with him now?
Yeah, at one point, me and Dana did have a great relationship. We're both Trump supporters, and we believe in everything he's doing for our country. He's putting America first and keeping America great. But the unfulfilled promises is what broke that relationship. He promised me so many things time and time again and didn't come through with those promises. So I'm not okay with that. This is a two-way street. You treat me like shit, I'll treat you like shit.
Time and time again, he also said that you, and again, there's 2 sides to every story, but he said that you refused to fight Tyron Woodley multiple times. He offered it to you, but you say different. What really happened?
Go ask my manager, Dan Lambert. That guy's never lied in his life. I've been offered the Tyron Woodley fight 6 times. He turned down all 6 contracts. What really happened is after I beat Rafael Dos Anjos for the interim title in June, they wanted me to turn around in 6 weeks' notice and fight again against Woodley. I had to get nose surgery, and I went to the UFC doctors to get the nose surgery, and they said, hey, you can't fight, you're out of this fight. And Dana's like, oh no, you need to turn around, you gotta fight, you gotta do this. I'm like, dude, the doctor's saying I can't fight, just give me 1 more month. That's all I need is 1 more month. So it was ludicrous because I'm the fastest strict champion in the history of the organization, and then they do that fight, and they say Dana's like, hey, you're still going to fight the winner. Another unfulfilled promise. I didn't fight the winner. They made me fight Robbie Lawler, and they made Marty Fake Newsman fight Woodley.
Because even if you had taken that quick turnaround fight, like you said, even if you wanted to do it, the doctors wouldn't have allowed you to do it anyway.
They wouldn't have allowed me. You know, I had deviated septum and chronic sinusitis in my nose. Literally had mucus drained to my lungs. I couldn't even breathe. I had to get the surgery. It was mandatory. And then all of a sudden they can't give me another month. All I needed was one extra month. 2.5 months. That's not too much to ask for a professional fighter coming off a 5-round title fight going into another title fight.
Thank you.
You mentioned a face turn would be interesting. What would a Colby Covington face look like?
You know, I can't. I am the king of spoilers, but I can't give out spoilers today. You just have to stay tuned, and you have to see what I have. The trick of sleeves up my sleeve.
And then pretty much everything you say sounds like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who was a face, but you are a heel saying the same things. How do you see that working? What makes it happen?
I think people are starting to love my realness. You know, whether you love me or hate me, you know, I go out there and I put on an entertaining show for the fans. You're emotionally invested in my fights. You know, the people that hate me, they're using their days and their platform to vent about me, so it's making their days better. And the people that love me, that know that I love America, I love the Trumps, I love the troops, they stand for me and they know I'm a product of the American dream.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Colby.